let's move on to topic number 8. And like I said, hey, if you're new to this show, give us a subscribe, give us a like here. We're on a mission to get 1,000 subs, and we're on our way there. We're going to skyrocket there to the top. So, hey, give us a like and give us a sub here. But let's move on tonight to topic number 8, and that's the dominance that Alabama showed in their Week 1 performance. And first off, college football is back, an exciting time, and boy, did they have themselves a great Week 1.
Yeah, and, you know, Alabama has been so good for so long now. Nick Saban's obviously still there. You were wondering, you know, especially after watching the NFL draft and seeing Mac Jones get taken in the first round, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, you know, the Patriots drafted a defensive lineman out of Alabama in the second round. They had a bunch of offensive linemen go in the first and second round. They had some defensive players go in the first and second round. They had so much talent just get drafted into the NFL. And now you're like, okay, is this the year where they're not rebuilding, but maybe they take a little bit of a step back? Then you see in Week 1 they're playing, you know, a team that a lot of people thought is going to be a decent team, not necessarily a national championship contender in Miami, but a team that, you know, they're ranked 14 coming into this game. And then Alabama just gets on the field and just smokes them, just absolutely smokes them. I mean, Bryce Young, a lot of people have been talking about, you know, why didn't Bryce Young start over Mac Jones last year? And supposedly Young, you know, he's got this big arm, he's super athletic, but Mac Jones had a better command of the huddle. You know, Young was just a freshman last year. And then he comes out in his sophomore season and throws for, you know, 340-something yards and 4 touchdowns. And you know, he's throwing to wide open guys half the time too. But they're just loaded again. I mean, it's just like bring in the next guy, you know, next man up for Alabama. It's unbelievable how much talent they have, but they're also well coached too. I mean, they execute plays perfectly. You know, coming out of the draft, everybody was saying, well, Mac Jones, he's accurate because he's throwing to wide open receivers. Well, the reason those guys are wide open is because the right play was called, the receivers ran the great routes, and the quarterback put the ball on the money at the correct time. So it was executed to perfection. That's why it looks so easy. And that's what this Alabama program is now. It was before when Alabama was sort of like the running back university for a while. Now it's like, you know, since really Tua and even Jalen Hurts, who is technically, you know, sort of an Alabama product, obviously most of his career at Alabama, you've now got really good quarterbacks going to Alabama. And at what point, I know it's just the first week of the season, but at what point are we just going to be like, this? Like, it's not even fair anymore that these guys are getting the top quarterbacks now, the top receivers, stud running backs. They've always been able to recruit really good defensive players. So what do they not have that's like a top tier talent on their team now? They're just so loaded again. I don't see how they're not, you know, I don't see them losing, I guess is what I'm going to say.
Punter potentially, because they never have to punt, honestly. I mean, that's potentially the only position that they don't have to load up on and re-recruit every year, because they, reload every year, and it's that next guy up. And clearly they just get the best players, and they have the best recruiting every year to be able to refill these positions. And you brought up a great point where, you know, they were running back you at one point where you had, you know, Mark Ingram coming out of there. You had TJ Yeldon, you had Derrick Henry. But now you're looking at it as being quarterback you with, you know, Mac Jones, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa. And now they've got this kid, Bryce Young, that just looks amazing. And I've talked about having a mobile quarterback and that most coaches want a mobile quarterback. This kid is it, man. And when I was watching that game, I was really excited. And you're going to love this. And maybe some other fans won't like this. I'm going to say that he is better than all 3 of those previous quarterbacks, honestly. From what I just saw from that one game and the talent level that I saw that he can put out there and get it. I get it. People are going to say it was just one game, man. Well, I'm guaranteeing you he's going to do that again this week and probably all season, because he looked amazing. Not only was he making the right decisions and making the right reads, then he was also, when he was getting put under pressure, he was making plays with his legs, getting outside of the pocket, moving the pocket, throwing on the run, and just throwing absolute dimes to these receivers. So it was just like, even when the defense had a play for him, he had the answer for them. And it was just like, man, Alabama's offense looked unstoppable right now with Bryce Young leading it. And then, like you said, I mean, Michi, they still got a lot of great wide receivers out there that can get it done. and they just reload every year in every position. And it's just really one of those things where they were the #1 team and they look like the #1 team once again. And I don't know, man. I know it was only 1 week, but I got to see them as the favorite right now going into the season and even going into the playoffs. When that comes around, they're still going to be one of those top 4 teams, definitely. But man, yeah, you brought up their great coaching, clearly led by Nick Saban, was a former NFL coach, and then has just had an amazing career coaching in college football. But on his staff, he's got the likes of, like a Doug Marrone coaching the offensive line. Doug Marrone, the former head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, willing to come on and be an assistant under Nick Saban and just make that coaching staff even better. And, he's obviously had other great coaches like a Lane Kiffin being the offensive coordinator, who's now the, head coach over at Ole Miss. And then he obviously had Bill O'Brien on this staff currently, right? I believe Bill O'Brien is now on this staff. Yeah. Yep. So it's just like, man, they do have amazing coaches. They're putting it out. And honestly, the amount of competition that they have daily in practice is, they believe, the thing why this program is so good, because every day in practice, Nick Saban is keeping it at a high level, keeping the competition up. They're literally just sharpening iron on iron every day. So then when game day comes around, they're just ready to rock, man.
Yeah, the most successful teams, a lot of times practices are harder than the actual games themselves. They put their players in such a stressful situation in practice, the games almost seem sort of easier. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Georgia, had such an impressive defensive weekend. You wonder if they're the one team, because their defense has been so good, that could maybe slow down Alabama. We'll see. That's going to be an interesting matchup heading down the stretch of the SEC. But, they just look unstoppable right now. Folks, if you like this show, you're watching it right now on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. That's Comeback Sports on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Comeback Sports. And then all the cut-ups that our awesome producer, Ben Kudo, puts together after the show, that'll all filter to your YouTube channel. You don't have to go search for it. It's just right there in your subscriptions.